Hi guys, so I just finished an audiobook called Girls Can Kiss Now by Jill Gutowitz, and I finished Heated Rivalry, and I think the combination of the two led me to crave some sapphic romance books. I'm like, give it to me now, I need more. So that's what this video is gonna be. I'm not quite sure how many books I'm gonna read and which ones, but I'm gonna talk about Girls Can Kiss Now. And then I think I'm gonna start Sunburn next. So Girls Can Kiss Now is an essay collection from pop culture lesbian writer Jill Gutowitz. She mostly writes articles online, and she wrote a lot of like Gaylor articles, which I have mixed feelings about. I don't really want to go into it, but she's like really intense Gaylor, which kind of lost her credibility for me personally. I don't really want to get into my beliefs about everything, but I do think it's possible that Taylor and Carly Kloss like had something going on, but I'm not the kind of person that's like, Taylor's a lesbian and Travis Kelce's her beard. I'm like, you guys are fucking crazy. Like, that's not true. But this book feels like hanging out with your pop culture, chronically online lesbian bestie. The book is about her experience with lesbian visibility in media, and she was born in 1991, so it focuses on the early 2000s to now and how much lesbian visibility has increased and become cool. So she kind of talks about how in the early 2000s there was like no media, no shows, and Orange is the New Black like broke the internet and was a huge turning point, and how now there's a lot more visibility and it just has become a really big part of pop culture. So personally, I gave it 3 stars because some of the essays I really liked and some of them I just didn't like as much, and I didn't like learn much from the book because I lived it. Like, I also grew up in like the early 2000s to now, and also really pay attention to queer visibility in media. So everything she was talking about, I kind of like remember and understood, but a lot of her personal experiences were really moving. And it has a good mix of humor when she's talking about pop culture. It's like really funny, and then also really deeply personal and important stories. So if you're interested in that, like if you want to do a deep dive into lesbian visibility in pop culture, then I would recommend it. Like, it's funny. I really like the audiobook because she read the audiobook, and that kind of book I feel like you can just listen to like while you're driving. Like, it kind of feels like a podcast, but I don't know if I would recommend it to everyone just because it's like so niche. But I did finish that audiobook in like 2 days, so I need to start another one. So I'm gonna start Sunburn by Chloe Michelle Howarth. She's an Irish author, and I think this is her debut novel, and I've heard mixed reviews about this, so I'm really curious how I'm gonna like it. And from what I know about this book, this sounds like a high school age girl living in Ireland who is Catholic, so she has a lot of Catholic guilt, but she's in love with one of her best friends, and it's like a sapphic love story, I think. We'll see. It might be super depressing, I don't know, but I'm always down to read Irish literature. That book so quickly, I didn't even have time to record reading updates, but I think I found my favorite book of 2026, and it's only January. I just don't see how anything can beat that. I did listen to the audiobook, and the narrator is Toni O'Rourke, and she did such an amazing job. And I don't know if this has happened to other people, but sometimes I listen to an audiobook and the narrator like ruins it because they're overacting and they just like bother me. She is like my favorite narrator I've ever listened to. She's also Irish. This book, I'm like not okay. Let's just say I'm so obsessed. I made a Pinterest board of the aesthetic because I want to see this translated to a screen in like a movie or a miniseries so badly. The descriptions of the people, habits that the people were doing, the settings, like there were such descriptive habits of such mundane things that it just completely transported you to the small rural town in Ireland that it was set in. Okay, so let's get more into the book. This is about a girl named Lucy. She's the main character, and she starts out the book in high school, and she lives in a rural town in Ireland called Crossmore. And this town is very Catholic and her family's very conservative and Catholic. And she has a neighbor named Martin that has a huge crush on her, and everyone in the town wants them to be together, but she's unsure because she's having feelings for her friend Susanna. And I don't want to give too much away, but I love how in Irish high school literature they're always talking about the Debs. So if you have read Normal People, you know about the Debs. So there's like a lot of coming of age things like the Debs and exams and what they're gonna do after school. And it's basically a book about lesbian yearning for your best friend while you have Catholic guilt because you were grown up super religious and you want to repress that part of yourself. But it is the most beautiful love story. Like, I genuinely cannot get over the writing, and I just like connected with her experience so well as other characters. And also how I can tell an author is like such a good author is because it didn't sound like it was like a 30-year-old woman writing from a 15-year-old girl's perspective. Like, it very much sounded like it was from a high school girl's perspective, just like her thoughts, her monologue, the way she was speaking about things. And when an author can do that, I think that that's really incredible. The main character's narration was like so raw and honest to the point where like I think other people might not like the book because they're like, this isn't plot heavy, like I don't care, why are you describing all of these things? But I thought that's what made it so real and made me connect to the character so much. And then it's about like her relationship to her friends and her family and all of their relationship to her sexuality. But yeah, if you have any interest in that, I would highly recommend it. I gave it 5 stars. I like have the worst book hangover because I don't know what to read next, and I don't even want to read another book because I fear nothing will be that good. I would recommend the audiobook for sure, but I also now want a hard copy of it because I just loved it so much, and like I also think reading like the hard copy would also be amazing. But I'm not sure what I'm gonna read next, so I will check in with you later. Hi guys, so I'm about to leave for work, and right now I'm listening to Women by Chloe Caldwell. I think I got this recommendation from TikTok, but it's only like 3 hours. It's a novella, so I'm hoping that I can finish it today while I'm at work. So I got like an hour into the Women audiobook. I was listening to it at work and I stopped because I honestly did not like it at all. It was like kind of pissing me off. I didn't think it was written very well, and there's no story. It's about her like having sex with this woman in a relationship, and like I know I only have 2 hours left on an audiobook, so like I could finish it, but the writing was honestly just like pissing me off. So I was like, why am I wasting my time? Let's read something else that actually is a story that I'm gonna like more. So I heard about this book called Paradise Rot on TikTok, and I got it from the library and downloaded it on my Kindle. I think it's like a weird girl horror sapphic book, so that sounds kind of fun. And I'm pretty sure it's about 2 roommates that have like a weird relationship, and then their room like literally starts rotting. So that should be interesting, and I think it's short. I think it's only like 160 pages, so this is ambitious, but like it's 2 o'clock and I might be able to finish it today, which would be awesome. So I did give Women another go, and I listened to like 30 more minutes of it, and I still hate it. I don't know why so many people recommend that, so I'm definitely DNFing that. And then I did finish Paradise Rot last night. I read it in 2 days. That book was very interesting and different. Definitely a weird girl lit fic book. Reading it felt like a mushroom trip. I had no idea what was going on. So Paradise Rot is about a Norwegian student named Jo who is starting university studying biology in the UK, and she moves in with this girl named Carol, but their apartment is a brewery that was converted into an apartment. Now, this has barely been converted. There aren't even walls. There's just like boards that are put up so they can hear each other's every movement. And Jo and Carol develop a really codependent and symbiotic relationship. The writing was really cool because it was really visceral and gross and really raw. and it describes a lot of rotting fruit, but that actually is important in the story. And the title sounds like Paradise Lost for a reason. I think it's like kind of an Adam and Eve retelling, but really, really creative. So I didn't think it was for everyone. If you're interested in like actual writing, I think it's really cool, but just for like an average person who wants to read for entertainment, I wouldn't recommend. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. Okay, so that's gonna be it for this video. Let me know if you want to see another video like this, because there are more sapphic books on my TBR that I did not get to in this video. But like this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!